Speaking of, I don't think Kyle Teel is so much a monster per se, but we've already talked about him. He's someone who's having his socks be, put with some good spot cleaner and everything like that. You take it to the dry cleaner, going from red to White Sox. Kyle Teel is presumably the catcher of the future and maybe even the catcher of now. I mean, we're looking at a team that is employing former guys that I've really cared about, and Corey Lee and Matt Thaiss as their catching tandem, right? Back in the day, I used to love those guys. Although 2 years ago, I didn't know that Matt Thaiss, this is going to get totally off the rails. Matt Thaiss was in professional baseball in the stateside. I just assumed he was on his KBO NPB arc of his life. But no, shout out to Matt Thaiss. He's kind of carved out a little bit of a nice career as a backup on like a second division team. But Kyle Teel, he is definitely not going to be a backup on a second division team. We're talking about one of the better athletes for the catcher position. I think he can go handle being in the outfield sort of well. Like maybe he might take my spot in left field. Who knows? But he's got above average power, above average contact. He's a good defender as a catcher. He's got a good arm. Like I said, he's a better athlete. Like we talk about catchers all the time not being great athletes. Kyle Teel is a good athlete. Does the athleticism take like a dip because of the bumps and bruises associated with catching? Of course. But we're still talking about an average runner, even on days where, he's been, beat around a little bit behind the plate and everything like that. But he's got an impressive feel for the strike zone. He steals strikes because he shows the quick wrist and everything. He's a really good framer. He's a good blocker. He's willing and able back there. I mean, there's a chance that this guy, like I said, breaks camp with the team if they really do want to start getting into the better part of their, getting out of the dregs of the rebuild and start having some of the guys who can be major league contributors for them in the next competitive White Sox team. That he should definitely break camp with the team if he shows a good spring.
Yeah, I get what you're saying with Teal and how the White Sox could want to taste some of that fruit, so to say. We've worked and you've nurtured growing this crop, and you want to see what the fruit tastes like. I totally get that. Teal would be a good option to pluck and to put behind the dish. I know we talked about it when we talked about the Red Sox, but Teal was not overmatched in a crop of very strong catching defenders at the Futures game in Arlington last year. Looked very, very comfortable, was, not out of place behind the dish. But what I will say is that his athleticism probably portends into that, but it could also, as you referenced, maybe even shift him to somewhere where his bat, it would actually put more pressure on the bat. Now, in AAA, the quality of contact was below average, and then the contact only average. Again, just about a month at AAA, but I still think that Kyle Teel is a very exciting player, especially as we've referenced with this Crochet trade all episode long. I think that Teel was a suitable, if not very exciting, headline returner for Crochet for the White Sox. As you said, the catcher of the future, worst case, a part of the White Sox team of the future. Maybe not a catcher, but certainly a part of it.